That's a pretty decent looking weld. A couple weeks ago, the featured video was me unloading a 500-gallon propane tank out of my truck. Today, we're cutting it up to make a bench. I got this dirty just from wheeling it in. Now, the very first thing we need to do is make sure that it's safe to start cutting on. The fact of the matter is, if the fill valve has been removed and there's no pressure in it, as far as I'm concerned, it's safe. But I have taken the precaution of pouring water in there through a funnel, and I heard it hit the bottom. It did not come out the drain though, because the drain has a lip. You have to put about 10 gallons of water in there before it got high enough to actually leave through the drain hole. One thing that's rather unfortunate about this is I just discovered there seems to be a bunch of mud on the inside. And you can see all that mud down in there. Now, the ones I've seen before, what they do is they use this end cap as the legs. And I kind of like that, so I think I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to want about 22 inches of leg. And I'm thinking that's going to put me right about here. I'll come up around here. Looks like it's time for a new Sharpie. Okay, so there's the first piece. Now the idea is, through all this cutting, I'm going to leave it on the casters and leave the bottom end intact as long as possible. That way I can move it. Because that piece I just cut off has got to be a good 200 pounds. I know I cannot lift it off the ground alone. Alright, that stands up on its own. That's going to be the other leg. So this curve here, this is going to be the back. So that's going to be the back over there. This is going to be the, not back, the seat. And the seat does not need to have any kind of flowing design elements to it. It just needs to be a pretty straight slice out of this. So yesterday I roughed out the pieces. I got the two legs, the back, and the seat. And another thing that happened yesterday was, I had my ball cap turned around and there's a little bitty opening there, and now I got a little D-shaped sunburn going on. I also burnt my neck and the lower part of my biceps between the top of the gauntlet and the bottom of my sleeve. So today I went to the welding supply and I got a welder's hat. that does not have one of those openings, and I'll use my welding jacket today. Live and learn, right? Anyway, the next step is to refine the shapes of these pieces. Okay, this is the end of one of the legs that I cut off, and it's going to end up being like the armrest and 2 legs on one side. And I got way too much steel here, way more than I need. Now I've decided I want the seat to be 17 inches off the ground, so we'll just come in here and establish a line at 17 inches. And I think I want the seat slightly towards the front because once I put the back on, if the seat were in the middle, it'll make it back heavy and it'll want to fall over backwards. So I want to try to equalize that weight a little bit. We'll put the 1 foot mark at the center line. That'll give me 3/4 of the weight of the seat on the front side, and then 1/4 of the weight of the seat on the back side. Now this was easily the dirtiest job I've ever done. With all this plasma cutting and grinding, it's just filthy work everywhere you turn. Now all the pieces are cut out, most of the grinding is done. The last step is to fit the back and the seat to the legs. Now, in case you're wondering, this piece here weighs about 100 pounds. And, yeah, it's not all that easy to move around. Now, the fit here is pretty good, but I'm not going to tell you how many times I held it up there, trimmed an 1/8 inch off here, 1/4 inch off there, and did some grinding on it. And then the MIG welder wasn't working all that great on this old rusty steel, and who knows, that's probably lead-based paint on it. So I broke out the stick welder and started tacking it together with 6011 fast freeze rod. So I thought this thing was going to be a lot longer, but by the time I cut in these corners, it shortened it up by about 3 feet. And because of that, these are just way too big. The proportions are way off. So I've come in here and I've cut some extra lines, and I'm going to take off about an 8-inch strip off both ends of these, and that should bring it more into proportion. Now here I'm going back over every surface I had previously ground with 36 grit grinding wheel, but now I'm going back over it with 120 grit flat disc, and that is going to smooth off the edges. Okay, I have just a little bit more fitting to do. It's a little bit wide on the seat pan. Not much, maybe 1/8 of an inch is all it's going to need. I made these mounting discs so this thing could be bolted to the ground. These are also what the powder coater will hang it from when they powder coat it. I need to weld those on, weld the seat pan on, but this project's almost done. And here, as I've done on every weld on this project, is I'm laying in root passes with 6011 and then coming back behind with 7018 with a nice looking cover pass. That's a pretty decent looking weld. Well, there it is, my friends, the propane tank garden bench. All that I have to do now is load it up and take it over to the powder coater. And if you want to see the result of that endeavor, find me on Instagram. My name there is wildman.tech. So that's all for this week. Thanks for stopping in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click up here to see my last video. Click over here to see something of mine that YouTube thinks you'll like. And have a good one.